John's saying you didn't retreat into a whiter genre. In fact, you arguably went deeper into
I got blacker.
Black music.
Yeah.
Deeper into
I got blacker.
Black music.
I got blacker.
Black music.
So I want to talk about legendary African-American Jaquavius Harlezy, aka Jack C. Harlow, and the C is for colonizer. He is back, and apparently he is blacker than ever, and we got to talk about the events that just transpired over the past couple of days. But before we do, make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button. So Jack Harlow, he's not only back, but he's back and decided that he wanted to make an R&B album, but not just a regular R&B album, an R&B album that would really more so be classified as like a neo soul album. And the album is called Monica. Now, I don't know if he purposely did that because of the internet joke about what word or what phrase the name Monica sounds similar to. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. If you know, you know, but I'm not sure. But either way, he decided to call it Monica. And many people over the past few weeks are not really talking about the music itself. They're more so talking about the new aesthetic that he has debuted. And the new aesthetic is really the old aesthetic, because he's dressing as if he just finished going to an amazing poetry reading. Like he just on his way home, he stopped on Jamaica Avenue to buy some incense, and then he got home and started burning them in his kitchen while he watches reruns of Brown Sugar on VHS. And this whole look with the Kango and the sock hat and he low-key looks like Carl Thomas on the cover of the Emotional album, which, you know, there's nothing wrong with wanting to try a new look or try a different look, because who knows, maybe it catches on and that becomes the new normal. Maybe it makes a comeback, right? But it's making many people question what are his intentions, because this does feel a bit vulture-ish. This does feel like kind of like somebody trying to pivot and prey on a lane that isn't really mainstream at the moment, but may have a very low border and a very low bar for what it would take to enter in, even though I think that would be a misconception if that was his mindset, because I think trying to do that type of music requires you to have much more range vocally and to take more time into actually trying to make good songs, respectfully. But either way, what ended up happening was he also did an interview with, it doesn't matter who he did an interview with, he did an interview with some people where he ended up talking about how he apparently feels blacker than ever, because they brought up a good point about how, you know, many artists who are rappers who happen to be white, many of them, as time goes on, they kind of pivot into other lanes of music that are considered whiter, even though that's not really true, because many of these other genres also have a lot of African Americans that have been a part of the history of it. But either way, they use examples like Machine Gun Kelly, who after a while he transitioned into more of like a 2000s pop punk rock sounding music, as well as Post Malone, who kind of pivoted to a more pop country sort of sound. And they were mentioning how they were very surprised that Jack actually went in a different direction and decided to go to a lane of music that they didn't want to say what it was, because they were clearly very scared. But then Jack pretty much said what they were thinking, which is he made music that I guess would make him be perceived to be blacker. And this was a hilarious moment overall, mainly just because when you see some of the memes and some of the jokes that people put on social media about Jack Harlow's new look, they nicknamed him Music Stole Child, they named him IRS1, Most Definitely Not, Yakub Kweli. Like they were really going off with all these different nicknames. But really, as I was laughing at the whole situation, I also started thinking about something else that I thought was interesting, which is just a week or two before this whole situation went viral, there was a debate going on about how people feel somebody like Wale should be dressing at a certain age. For the people that didn't pay attention, Wale, obviously he's like in his 40s, and he still dresses in a similar manner to how he dressed in the early 2010s when he was in his 20s and 30s, and that's his prerogative, obviously. But many people were criticizing Wale, saying that he shouldn't be dressing like this at a certain age. He should dress like a grown man and blah blah blah, right? So, now there were some people that were defending Wale, obviously, but there were also a lot of people that were very harsh on him, saying that again, he's dressing like a kid. He shouldn't dress like that. He should dress in a more mature manner. And to me, what's so funny is the way Jack Harlow is dressing with his new, his new look. It's low key the style that people claim they want Wale to dress in, but the only difference is Wale's choosing to not dress like that, really. I just find it fascinating because you would think that people would have, the same people that were quick to criticize Wale, you would think that they would have been the type to actually praise Jack Harlow's new look. But I saw some of these same people, they just started clowning Jack Harlow, which to me, it still made me laugh because, look, no matter which way you slice it, people are going to nitpick whatever you try to do. So let me know, are you a fan of Neo Soul Jack? And also, did you see a problem with Wale's fashion choices at this age, or do you think none of this actually matters?